Good evening, TNT family. Welcome back to Yellow's Dakota and UNC USA. And I just wanted to dedicate that song to Mr. Marvin Gonzalez in particular, ladies and gentlemen. So, how is everybody doing tonight? Welcome back to the program. So, Mr. Singh, thank you for taking the time to join me back here. And, as we see more information is being revealed, the government is working very studiously in trying to deliver goods and services to our country and rectify, the issues taking place. How are you doing tonight? I have a few clips I want to share with you here a little bit. So
all right.
Hold on a second here. Let me just pull it up here. Let's see here. So we have this one here. All right, so we have.
It's so sad, yeah. Nice girls having these kind of involving themselves with these kind of individuals with tendencies. He's spending a few years in jail, and what he could give you a pretty girl like you. What he could give you. You understand? You're not working hard in your rotation, but what he coming out to give you? And a lot of girls that are thinking like that always say, what this man could give you?
I really don't know what is being inside of there.
End up in a porn, a pretty girl like that. Huh? A pretty girl like that. Chop her body mutilated, wrapped in plastic bag, Get a taxi, man. What
Yeah, that could be a normal habit to them guys and them.
But I tell you, see what you're saying here? You don't ever go to 0 to 200 just so, you know.
After a long hiatus, the UE DB campus work is going to start from tomorrow, I believe, on the rehabilitation of this campus. Firstly, scope of works will be done. After a long hiatus, the UE DB campus work is going to start from tomorrow, I believe, on the rehabilitation of this campus. Firstly, scope of works will be done to identify exactly what needs to be done, and then that will be followed by the construction work itself. This has been done under the inspired leadership of the Prime Minister, and also in collaboration with the UWI.
But I want to begin this way this morning.
Yes.
All right? So URP feeding frenzy, a mean majority of $231 million used for payroll, with hundreds of names receiving salaries without performing any work. I'm also seeing at the back here, CPEP suffering, of which the PNM has been speaking about for the past few weeks. I'm also seeing where the Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarath accuses PNM of CPEP hypocrisy, and he speaks about a cabinet note that detailed the firing of contractors and the dismissal of employees in 2017, just days before the reopening of the school term. So a tit for tat really happening over the past few weeks, if I can say, between persons associated with this government and persons associated with the PNM. What's your perspective this morning?
You know, the playbook of the government is that you make wild allegations against persons within the People's National Movement. You make statements as though people, once you're a PNM, you cannot engage in legitimate business. You cannot tender for contracts and get contracts. And if by chance you happen to get a contract from the state or from a state agency, it is political nepotism, it is wrong, it is corrupt, and what have you. And that is now used as the basis upon which you send thousands of people at home. If there is evidence of corruption and corrupt activities in any program, be it CPEP, be it URP, in any aspect of governance in Trinidad and Tobago, then you take the evidence, you forward it to the appropriate authorities, and let the chips fall where they may. And an affiliation with any political organization cannot be the basis upon which you send home over 11,000 workers. It cannot be. So going and cherry picking particular contractors and their directors and linking them to the PNM and using that as a platform and the basis upon which you shut down an entire program, sending thousands of people's lives in a tailspin, not knowing how they're going to put food on their table, not knowing how they're going to send their children to school, is nothing but callous, and it is nothing but irresponsible. Our position in the PNM is that if you have evidence of wrongdoing, ghost gang, whatever you're saying, if you have evidence of it, take it to the appropriate authorities. But please do not use this as a basis upon which you attack thousands of people and putting their future in jeopardy and their children.
Mr. Singh?
Continue. I'll meet you in a minute.
You know, is this man think we that stupid, or is he mentally deranged? I mean, we saw the figures, right, of how the funds were distributed. And now he's trying to incite racial division, to divert from the actual fact of what really took place. The people that he claimed to be representing did not benefit from the bulk of the cash. And I want them to understand that. The bulk of the cash didn't come to you, the one that he's trying to instigate, that this government is against you for some reason or the other, and spinning more lies. They're desperate.
Well, this is typical of PNM strategy throughout its own history. I'll tell you what. Good night to the viewers and welcome in the various platforms to our program. Yes, Gary, as I was saying, that this is nothing new to them. When the chips are down, they pull the race card out. You see it before the election, we've seen it after the election. So what are the facts? You know, they never go and analyze the data. What does the data show? The data shows that there was no cabinet note to continue this program just before the election. There was no cabinet note. The minister in charge, he instructed the CPEP board that government has given approval when they have not given the approval. So right away, this entire program became null and void because no funds cannot be released if there's no cabinet note. And what is a cabinet note says? A cabinet note basically is an approval to go ahead with a particular project which is initiated by a particular minister. Simple. So if no approval is given for this program, then on whose behest were all these people employed? So this is the question. Not to say that, oh, it's the Black Brothers, it's PNM supporters, how we put in food on the bread. It's not that. That is not the issue. That is the reality, but that is not the issue. You must have or allocate funds to pay the people when the fortnight is up or at the end of the month for administrative staff to get their salaries. But if that program is not approved, cabinet did not approve it, and the minister instructed the CPEP board to say, yes, cabinet approved it, then you know where the fault lies squarely. It's on the minister. He lied. But it's plain and simple. He lied to say there was approval when there was no approval. So my view is to let the courts decide and punish who has to be punished and restructure this whole program. Let it be as transparent as possible from bona fide contractors who will employ the people as they see fit. And that is the crux of the matter here today. But just to say that, UNC is, or the UNC and its partners are propagating this racial divide and punishing the people from the PNM for, these make work programs that they are practicing racism to the highest extent. But that's their perception, and they're trying to sway the public on that perspective. When in truth and in fact, the minister lied and informed the CPEP board and say, here, yes, the government approved this project. Let's continue it on. That's why they renewed the contracts sometimes without names, without termination dates, until 2028, 2029. No performance appraisal was done to see whether the contractors were doing the job satisfactorily or what. And when a number of ghost scams and ghost employees and so on were unearthed, then Mr. Gonzalez is singing a different tune now. Or he's pulling the dog whistling, the PNM style. It's race.
The man is voicing serious concern over what is described as imbalanced ethnic and racial composition among the newly appointed boards.
That's a separate.
Yes.
The whole PNM there, starting from the their leader, the opposition leader, all of them had pipping him out the last time around.
Distraction from the fact of how they raided the treasury and suffered people and caused the services in the country to dilapidate. I mean, you name it. Everyone, as you say, is broken, but I say it's more than broken.
Boy, this is, I don't know.
Broken is a nice word.
I don't envy these ministers. To be honest with you, that will be a tough job for me to do, or a lot of people to do. So the ministers, I really, they have my full support to try to correct some of these things, because it will take more than a year and more beyond to correct some of the crap that was being perpetrated on the population.
So we saw the decision to absorb 800 of the SRPs into the police force, which I am very happy to see that took place.
And so am I, very happy that can be done.
You know, so we are heading in making some progress there. Go ahead.
Yes, and that is quite encouraging to see that at least we all along we are asking the question, well, what is the Homeland Minister doing and this and that? But these things take time, you know, Gary. That just doesn't happen overnight and say, hey, you want a job, let's bring in people in the force. It doesn't happen like that.
He made a decision, or the cabinet made a decision, like we talk about the low-hanging fruits. The 800 SRP is low-hanging fruits that's already trained and ready to go.
Correct.
And has been mistreated because they are not full officers. But they were doing the job.
Doing the job. And he made this distinction as well.
And they came with experience.
Yeah, they had the experience. Some of them may not have the adequate qualifications. But you know what? If they can carry out their job in a respectful and dignified manner, and to, you know, pursue additional training and so on to upgrade their skill set, that will be a plus as well, because they have been in the profession a while now as SRPs. So it's easier for them to transition into the public service, into the police service, rather than having a brand new recruit. So there are advantages to the system as well. One, you can increase the manpower capability basically immediately. And then you can schedule, you know, as Dr. Maharaj used to always say, have them in every nook and cranny of the various communities. And if you combine this now with the force, the police.
Kim Antoni says hello. She dropped by phone on 9.
Okay. If you think of the situation now, but if you can incorporate the army and the additional policing and so on into the various communities, at least we can see some, you know, quietening down of the crime situation. I mean, you saw that horrific one where the lady body was dismembered and so on. That show just now at Ian Allen TV.
This is what the PNM brought the country to.
Correct.
This is not something that happened overnight, just like that. These shameless people refuse to admit the fact that this is what they brought our country to.
Yes. So they will make all the excuses. But you know, at least something concrete is happening. At least the staffing the HR capabilities have increased. So if you have the good strategy now and you can combine the army and the additional policing there and get the police to do their work which they have been trained for, policing, I think we can make a dent in the crime situation.
I like to put it, and I always said, for me, this election was a life and death mission. And we are seeing here with this young lady, right?
Yeah.
where it cost her her life. And these criminals feel they can do what they do and get away clean with it, and that's why they're doing what they do because they
Yes.
have a clean getaway.
You need to have this strong deterrence, and that is what, in my opinion, it was missing all along. And PNM never bothered to, implement that or enhance that or to change it a little way.
They're
Whatever.
busy fixing
Nothing.
themselves. They're busy fixing themselves and throwing out distraction. They was never interested in fixing the situation.
Right. Correct. So, with this in mind, I see something positive coming out of on the Homeland Ministry front. And let's hope, at least it triggers down to a reduction in the crime situation. But we must always be mindful that, it's not only the police. It has to be a number of other ancillary services that will accompany the police service to make crime fighting effective. And you're looking at the DNA legislation, that's one part. You're looking at the forensics and so on. So all these things together with the legal system and having, night courts and what have you, they have a good plan going forward with that. It's a matter of implementation it and coordination among the various branches. That yes, a concerted effort is being taken place, or the shape is shaping up to take place. And once that is fully implemented, we can see something major happening on the crime front as far as decreasing the numbers.
Yeah, but up front, I am more interested in rolling out a deterrence strategy, and the patrolling is something we can do within. We're already paying for that, just to get the
Yes.
officers out there to manage the operation, the patrol operation, manage the response. I strongly believe that we can do much better. I mean, within a week, we could put things together. So I don't think it takes that much. It takes the will to do it and to put the management structure in place to say, listen, this is the plan of action. This is what I want as commissioner of police, and this is how we're going to do it. And we need, accountability and how this operation runs. We must get feedback on the patrolling and what is being done. This is an easy fix. These are things that we should be doing. The scientific part and the evidence and the court and everything comes up way after. But the first thing I am interested in seeing that we protect and prevent.
Yeah, as I was making the point yesterday, you need to have the legislation to back these things up. You cannot just do it. A minister cannot do it on his own. It has to be on a cabinet.
Yeah, but I mean, there's enough, before we get to that part, there's enough legislation for police to patrol and to respond. And, the problem is the management of the police force is the big issue.
But the assimilation of them into the police service is the criteria, so that they will not be short-changed salary-wise, they will not be at a disadvantage, then, so to speak.
You're talking about the SRP, but I'm just talking about getting the job done with the manpower we have. The SRP has been doing the job. The salary part and the benefits takes care, and they get the respect. But at the same time, I think with the level of manpower that we have at this stage, we can get a lot done, and we're not getting value for money here right now.
So now, with this new position, 800 new persons in the force, and you disseminate it into the various communities, and you add from the existing, police service and the army and so on, you can definitely put a dent it's all in the numbers. You see policemen in every other corner and so on. It creates that sense of security among the citizenry. But when you don't see a policeman or a patrol vehicle for 2 and 3 days, and given the quote-unquote the public perception of the police service, you have there's justifiable reason to why people think that way, you know. But there are a lot of hardworking policemen, a lot of hardworking people, and a lot of people in the community who are willing to help. So let's incorporate all these agencies and see what best can be done for all of us, not only for, you know, these high-risk areas, but all of Trinidad and Tobago, you know. So I first have to create that deterrence by having the numbers out there on the beat. You know, and then the structure, the organization. Now the police service commissioner, he has to have his foot on the ball too. You know, you just can't be bogged down with administrative duties or technical duties and so on. You got to, you know, get his foot on the accelerator and speed up, you know, these initiatives. So I think it bodes well going forward, and I'm a little pleased. I'm much pleased now than, let's say, 1 month ago that we have been able to assimilate these additional staff within this service. The other thing that struck my mind is, you know, my pet project, Gary, is the DB campus, you know. And I saw Minister Prasad, you know, in a very happy and enthusiastic mood.
Definitely.
When he announced that, you know, the DB campus, at least construction, scope of works and so on will commence tomorrow. So that is a big relief to me and for me. I being a southerner, and I live as close as possible to that campus, and I know the benefits as well as the headaches we have been faced with students from South having to traverse the highways and go to school in St. Augustine, you know. It was a lot of sacrifices, Gary, a lot, not only of the students themselves, but of the parents and family and friends and all those, you know, people who had the ambition to go to a university, but because of certain circumstances, financial among otherwise, they were just left to do, you know, kill the time. So now that this, hopefully, they can become a reality in the near future. I mean, this is a very rewarding day for the southern students who were thinking of higher education. So this is really a momentous occasion. Hopefully we should get
You
it.
know, I find it very distressing for children to have to travel all the way from the south, all the way to St. Augustine. I find that to be a very distressing thing. It's costly. It's a security risk. Is not involved, you know, and to see, you know, people from all the way, what they call it, Seas Dress and
Yeah,
Niagara,
Point,
a lot of
Labre,
people from
Paisabad,
Labre.
Erin, Santa Flora, Siparia, you name it, Pinal, Davie, Moruga, Barport, all the catchment area for this university, perhaps just as much as St. Augustine. You know, so this is part of the geographical discrimination we always talk about. People from the south.
Yeah, so Marvin want to come and talk. How many years of discrimination we suffered in the country then?
No, but again,
You know,
they blow
but
that.
the thing about it is this government is an all-inclusive government, and decisions are not being made according to race, but qualification and people capability.
Correct.
But they, you see, the thing about this, they think that's how their mindset is, and they
Well,
can't get away from that.
So in his eyes, you have to be of a certain color, you know, certain skin pigmentation
Yeah,
to be on a board in the PNM.
not qualification, not qualification and capability.
That is foreign to them. That is very foreign to them. Unless you belong to a certain color and you have a certain pigmentation in the skin, then you qualify. under the PNM. So, and what gets me, it's just one minister saying that, right? But the whole crew of them were part and parcel of the system. So it's not one minister, it's not only Marvin Gonzalez. This was the policy of the PNM. Why he may be taking the brunt of the effects of this thing, but we must remember all of them had paper in their mouth at that time. No one spoke out.
Well, some people were getting cash, so they're not going to go against the flow because they were benefiting from it.
Yes.
And we have a lot of Indian people who was among them that allowed it, said nothing, just collect the money.
Yeah, you're right.
When the man down south who was cussing Kamala and drinking the rum and thing, where he hiding now? Anyway, so our government is focused on delivering certain level of services to our people, which we know. We know our Prime Minister is very focused. We know our team is very focused, and they are not distracted by this nonsense. They're very focused on what they're doing.
Yeah, and you've got to be focused. You're not going to make the same mistakes you make the last time around when you tried to appease the PNM and answer all their questions and so on. That is long gone. You don't have to answer to anybody. You answer to the people. They're the ones who put you there. And once you can follow through on what their policies are, what the people want, and you can deliver it for them, then let the people decide, So this is what
they can't handle the number of Afro-Trinis who went against them. That is what they can't handle.
This is the thing. So
it shocked them bad. It sent them bazodi, and that is the thing about that they can't handle. But people, or when people have enough, they have enough.
And no wonder the opposition leader is saying, "Oh, we were not listening to you, but please come back home." It's like you kick somebody
out. How come Penny is silent on Marvin's statement?
I know
she's silent.
No, remember what I'm telling you, Gary. You didn't follow. This is a policy of the PNM.
Yeah, I know. I'm just putting him in her back right now.
Yeah, she will not. You will hear her speaking. She will not hear her speaking because this is the policies directive. But they let one man take the rap.
For how many years people came straight off the boat from the Caribbean islands and get a job and get a government job, right? While some people who born and grow in the country there could not even know about the job. But some people are coming straight off the boat from the other Caribbean islands.
So away.
That is what they built for over the years.
So
we could talk too. If they want to talk, we could talk too.
Yeah, but then we're not seen.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. But we are really focused on providing a certain level of goods and services to all our people. That's the Prime Minister focus. That's the government focus. This is an all-inclusive government, and they cannot handle that. They cannot digest that. They cannot process that.
That's the point. No, you're quite right. But I heard this dotish talk from the former Minister of Education. She was saying, she was imploring all these CPEP.
She's another one.
CRP, URP, and CPF people to go to the social government ministry and apply for all these aids, grants, that is unemployment grant, this grant, school books and allowance grant, all these grants. How come you now know about these grants? Where were the people in South? Do you ever tell the people in South and Central that you have grants available to these people, the poorest segment of the population? No, all of a sudden, she's advising the CPEP and URP and all these people. What about the unemployed, the average unemployed person all along? you know. So they just brain to save themselves.
They are exposing themselves. They are exposing
This,
themselves, and they don't seem to realize it. They
this
are
is
exposing their prejudice. They are exposing what they have done for the history of our independence.
and you know what? If you don't look sharp, this whole CPEP thing will go cold just now. Because when you realize that the minister of, wonder whose purview it was charged, I think it's rural development.
Well, even though there was a line minister, they're all in that same thing.
Yeah, they all in cohorts. That's what I said. This is PNM.
You remember the previous election? I think it was 2015, where you had to have a party card to get a hamper or something like that. There was a voice recording and everything.
Yes.
In fact, during COVID, they were giving out hampers according to party cards, because somebody from inside the PNM called me. Somebody from who is a member of those family inside the PNM called me and tell me that was happening.
Yes. But what they were doing at that time, I was in Trinidad at that time, they were giving some, a little but a minuscule amount to the opposition parliamentarians so they could distribute it to their supporters. But the bulk of it, was all headed in the PNM and PNM constituencies, as well as their supporters. So they never felt the brunt of it. What about the ordinary poor people in the countryside who suffered, more than average during the COVID? How were these people heard? Who was listening and hearing to them of their cries? Nobody. Again, why this as some of the politicians argue that Trinidad is also, there's a part of Trinidad beyond the Carronade Bridge or beyond the lighthouse as well. In as much as nobody wants to believe it, well, this election showed them that that is a fact. Because as you look at the color of the map, Gary, you look at the yellow and you look at the red.
That unity, they can't handle it at all. They can't handle it at all.
And it's their own, to a large extent, it was their own who went against them as well.
Welcome, Nadia and Barbara. Let's see who else is here. Thank you, guys. Nadia is always with us. Thank you, Nadia, for joining us.
Okay, hello. Yes, so, they were...
Nadira, I'm sorry. Nadira, not Nadia. Nadira, I'm sorry.
They couldn't handle it. So this is what transpired. I'm so happy that these things are, at least we've seen some visible signs of progress being done with the Davie campus, with the police force, with the shutting down, where the UNC minister have been able, and the response as well, have been able to shut down Gonzalez on his, racial talk, border appointees. He thinks he thought that they are like more from Bangladesh or Delhi, rather than based on the qualifications or the skin color, according to him. So that whole PNM party very myopic in their thinking now. So you have to expect these things, and you don't have to respond to them if you don't want to, because we know all is a pack of BS. They're just trying to be insightful and, work up the population along racial lines. That's all. That's the intent. So with these areas, I feel very strong that, and you've seen visible signs that things are happening, things are beginning to take shape. There, in the coming weeks, going forward, there are two things I noticed. a lot of ministers and so on are endorsing the Honorable Prime Minister for endorsement as the political leader of the party. And secondly, I also noticed a number of ministers are holding, pre-budget consultations in their constituencies. So, again, that is part of the people-centered focus, by listening to the people and framing the budget along community lines, among people-centered lines, where the net beneficiary redounds to the local population at the constituency level, the people who are in need. And yesterday, I don't know if you remember Dr. Ramo, when he was speaking, he spoke about the community-based, analysis, not analysis, the community.
It's community, the community resilience program, which inclusive, not just in disaster and medical response, but in crime and every aspect. Because if you build that structure, then you have things in place, and you could educate the people, in helping themselves.
And that is an all-encompassing strategy, because you will get so much data on students, on workers, on those who are teachers and nurses, and what sort of family income you have, the elderly, the handicapped, those in need of social help, and so on. You will have the entire cross-section of the community. You have information at any point in time. So that is a low-hanging fruit that you can really go after. Does not require too much skilled labor to collect that data. What it means, though, is that you need to have one or two knowledgeable people to determine how best we can use that data, that one, and how best to disseminate that data, that is, who gets what, or who can see what data. But from a planning perspective, that sort of program, the community-based program, will be, tantamount to real development. And I think we should push for more to see a model like that come into fruition. Because once you could touch the lives of the average person, remember, people on the whole don't need much, Gary. People on the whole don't need much. Once you could have a job to put food on the table, you have decent health care, you could take care of the elderly and the vulnerable people in the society, you get water, electricity. People can rally around with that. But when you put stresses on top of these things, you put the stress on people. You begin to affect their mental things.
Like I said last night, they were, before everybody barking about local government reform, but there are certain ingredients that has to be built into local government to accomplish what we're talking about. And, so you have to reorganize, and, like I said, the councillor job is not just to build box drain, but there has to be an understanding of what is expected. So the whole local government structure has to be restructured, upgraded, and this, so that we can move forward with this concept, that what we're trying to get done, and it will benefit in the long run. This is an investment that will benefit us for a lifetime, more than one lifetime. If we move in that direction, there has to be local government has to be restructured, and there has to be training for our councillors. There has to give some direction on expectation, community involvement. Encourage that. Each community should have their own team of people that's working in that level of getting
Correct.
things done. But there has to be an understanding. Then you combine the ministries, education, culture, planning, and then and health will fall in there, and national security, and we all, I mean, one of the things I love about the team is everybody is very embracing in each other, and they're working in full collaboration. There is no separation, with the team, this government team. So I think it's very possible, especially with this team that we have.
Yes, I agree with that. And the coordination and the assistance lent to other members, even though it's not directly related to your line of work or your ministry, you can see the encouragement by incorporating these other ministers and so on into the assisting. That's the word. Assisting, even though it's not in your portfolio. And this is the nice thing which shows.
Well, that concept of it not your portfolio, that's out the window. We need a collaboration because we all. It's like Dr. Rambo was talking about the body parts. Every organ, every arm, the feet, the eyes, they all working
In tandem,
yeah. So there is no such thing, and it's not my portfolio. We have to eliminate that kind of nonsense talk and mentality, and this is where it's a whole government approach. You bring everybody together. Each one will handle their function, and everything trickles down, to where it has to be, and you have a coordinated effort, and that's how you get things rolling.
correct. And that coordinated effort brings forth progress. Now people will see at least things are happening in the society and redounding ultimately to the benefit of the citizen, the local man, the average man on the street. He can see things happening, whether it be infrastructure development, better school placement for the kids and so on, better transport system, more buses on the road.
What really makes up the country is
This
the
is
local
it.
community, is the local man.
And if
Is
that,
the,
and if
I mean, every brick, every cell, every human being counts. There should not be any biases I mean, we have a kind of culture in Trinidad where you like to hide the good things and hide information and this nonsense. We have
yeah,
to bring information to people so the country we can grow together.
yeah, this is the holistic development approach, and this is good. This is what development is all about. And if we can start to institute this and these things can bear some fruits initially,
Welcome,
the
Sal.
government,
Welcome, Sal. Yeah.
the government will find itself in a situation where implementing that 15 initiatives which constitute the development plan for the island, that will become more feasible. It will become more achievable because they have already engaged the population. The population understands what they are doing. The population is being equipped with the correct training on the education system to, follow through with what is required. So you're enhancing the labor force as you go along. You're enhancing that human capacity to implement and to plan to how to going to deliver on these promises, which is in the manifesto. So that becomes an easier alternative if you can develop this community-based initiative. So the Ministry of Planning and Development has their work cut out for them. Yeah.
So the thing about it, I have a way of doing things. Is if you want to listen privately, I'll tell you it publicly. Right?
Yeah, we say what you have to say. I mean, our group so far we have been very objective. You
I'm
call
going
us
to
a
give you
shop,
I'm willing to give you certain things privately. I mean, there's certain things I won't say here, but
right?
like I said, if you're too busy to listen privately, you get it publicly.
publicly, correct? Yeah, so no, I think this past week we have shown a lot. I know next week Monday there's a meeting again. I think in the Coover South Monday night meeting. And
Yeah, in Camden.
yeah, Coover South constituency. So that's what it is. So I mean, she had one 2 weeks ago, and if you're doing it every 2 weeks, you can report on some major achievement, at least one major achievement every 2 weeks. In a short space of time, you know, you can set the pathway for a new budget year coming in from October. So at least you have, if you can get the groundwork up and running between now and at the end of September, you hit the ground running now with funds being released and so on to really put your foot on the accelerator at that time. So it's in a sweet spot. I think the country is in a sweet spot with the plans and so on.
Well, we building that infrastructure in place. You know, the plans
Yes.
are being put in place, and I mean, then you're going to see the bricks laid pretty soon, foundation and.
Once you get the financial part going as well, the money part going, then you can really see uh, really faster speed of implementation of some of the low-hanging fruits. And in the meantime, though, the cleanup has to continue. You know, the cleanup. When I say cleanup of P&M's mess in all these ministries. These things
Not
have
only,
to.
not only clean up their mess, clean them out.
Well, I hope they do that at the end of the fourth or fifth year. That cease to exist. They cease to exist. Who knows? Uh, you know, at least more of their supporters can find a home in the UNC and get a better life, or assist them in more of their problem solving, rather than keep them in subjugation as they have done in their base support areas like the Beetham and Lavin to the east and west and so on. So at least some of the
We
smarter
have a
ones.
lot of we have a lot of supporters in Laventille, you know. We have.
Yes, I agree, but the smarter ones will vote for UNC. And I'm sure they will find their voice and encourage the others now to let's see a more changes happening. You know, it's hard to believe, Gary, that your backbone support constituency remain the worst of in the island after how many years of P&M rule. It goes to show that P&M never had they did not want these people to get out of the rut. They just wanted to subjugate them and make them dependent upon the PNM. So they'll have no choice but to go back and vote for the PNM. So that voter bank in some of the northern areas is just a voter bank, but zero development. So,
yeah, we have to change. We had to do some real changes with CPEP and URP too, where you know the people cannot have a rope around their necks in the way this thing is managed.
yeah, you can't make it party based. You have to make it on needs based. Before it was party based.
Oh, somebody applying for a job, then they could do the job. You give them the job. That's it. You're not requiring a tax rate to get the job.
Or you have to be
a lot of exploitation and extortion took place with this thing.
Correct, even among their own kind. So you see, skin color should not be a criteria, but that it was a criteria. But Gonzalez opened his mouth and say, "Oh, he thinks he's in Bangladesh or Delhi," But and in addition,
welcome, Clinton Williams. Welcome.
As the country, some of the younger people get more politically inclined and begin to think in a more constructive way, you may see a mass crossover at the next election time around. You never know. Once people can see benefits that they have experienced over the past, this 5 years time, you might be able to have a good voter base crossing over from the PNM to the UNC. As I say, people needs a simple.
I would first like to see the unaffiliated voters first.
The
unaffiliated voters that they come and vote first.
Those on the sidelines.
Yeah.
But those on the sidelines remain on the sidelines for a reason. It could be a number of things. They're not too bothered about what's happening in the economy. They could be very well off financially and economically, so they don't care. They're safeguarded in their house. Their communities are all, gated and so on. So they don't care what's the average man in the street. As I said, they basically could be the 1%, 1%ers. It may be now like 5%ers who really don't have the country at heart, just their own personal self-interest. So that is a difficult group to attract. The easiest way to attract people is from the existing voter bank, both from the UNC and the PNM, and teach these people, show them, how your lives have improved in this 5 years than it has ever been in the past. And it's smarter ones among the lot will realize so. From education, resources pumped in, for the social services pumped in, to the level of opportunity, job opportunities being pumped into the economy, avenues to, show off your skills and so on, improvements in the healthcare sector. Once people can see things are happening for their benefit, the smart ones will gravitate towards you. As I say, that third segment who is sitting on the fence, they are sitting on the fence for a reason. And it's much more difficult to grab or gain any support from that group. So let's keep on working. The ministers are, I think, doing an excellent job. All of them. There will be mistakes made. Once they can correct their mistakes and move on, like in every organization, there will be, issues at hand. But it's how you deal with it. And I will really like.
Let's see how it plays out, man.
Yes.
It's going to take some education, educating and informing people as much as possible, connecting with people, at the community level.
Right.
Not from a platform, but on the ground with them.
Yes, you're right. And
so, if we restructure the, those community centers, the community activities, I strongly believe if we engage those kids in constructive thing, that there will be a drastic improvement on how things are going.
Yes, I definitely feel so. And again, when you're doing these things, you're doing it with a number of objectives in mind, and things will fall in place. And once things begin to fall in place, you'll see the rate of development will speed up significantly. The rate of delivery of services will speed up deliberately. Because in each ministry now, you have the data to work with. You know, in which village, which town, which trees, which side road.
I see Philip Watts is doing an excellent job. Senator Nakid, I know, definitely he's on the ground there. Michelle Benjamin is doing her thing there also, as far as the community structure. I mean, Vandana is working like 7 days a week. Saddam is working in his constituency. So all these guys are engaged in the community. I think we're heading somewhere.
Yeah, things are happening, and I see Saddam is saying that, the Carney workers, we eventually, some of them who have long outstanding since 2004 when P&M closed down the Carney, will finally be getting their plots of land. Check now, 20-something years, boy, and you still have to wait on your visa proposal. That's when Rahel and the P&M closed down.
I definitely we're going to see some improvement with Saddam there doing these kind of things.
You see, they recognize. You see, this is the first thing. Once you recognize what the problem is, you can find solutions to it. But in the case of the P&M, they recognized, they knew what the problem was, but they didn't care. They just did not care about the people. They were all about enriching themselves. $3 million contract here, $6 million, $10 million for their family and friends and so on. So it was all for themselves. They knew what the problems were. You tell me what justification there was to, not to open the DB campus. Can you justify that? Can you justify why they were not able to open the Cuba Hospital? Can you justify how come they were not able to finish about 10 or 12 of the big secondary schools, which were already 70 to 80% completed? How come they could not finish those things? So they knew very well what they were doing. But with this government, I think they're on the right track as far as I am concerned. And they're looking more at the delivery for additional delivery and better delivery and a wider range of delivery of goods and services to the people. So let's give it our full support in this initiative. I think that covers us for tonight. Gary, I don't know if you have anything to add or say again.
No, I think we can wrap it up at this point here. Let me know if you want to do anything tomorrow night, if there's anything you guys see.
If anything eventful happens, I'll give you a shout.
All right then, man. Good night, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join us. And Clinton and Sal, you guys are welcome to come on the program. Nadira, bro, anybody that's listening, I want to extend an invitation that you can come on the program. You can come off camera. You can voice your opinion and views. You can tell us what's happening in your community. We're trying to get some feedback from the people in the various communities of what's taking place. So please encourage others, to contact us, and and you can help us collaborate with them and navigate this. So I want to thank everyone for listening, and with that, I would say good night, everybody.
All right, good night. Have a good one.
मैंने मेहंदी का दिलों का संग तेरे नाम